Streaming
But he's
live
won
on
them today.
WHITradio.org from High Tech High School in North Bergen, New Jersey, it's the Laughing Hyena Show. Join the conversation at 201-854-8224. I'm your announcer, Laura, and now your host, Marilyn.
Good morning. I'm your host, Marilyn, and today with me is Abraham, Kevin, Laura, and behind the board we got John and Josh. Today's topics are sports, ISIS, and the
CIA
Yes.
with Dick Cheney.
Yes. But first, I have some news about the Victoria's Secret fashion show. My favorite model, Adriana Lima, she goes on a liquid diet before the Victoria's Secret's fashion show. She goes on a 99-day protein shake and water diet and works out twice a day to prep for the show. 12 hours before the runway, she added, she ditches liquids entirely. As we all know, a big problem in the U.S. is anorexia with teens, and obviously they see the Victoria's Secret fashion show and want to be like as skinny as them, and they want to just be good enough for society and how society portrays women. And Adriana Lima just wants to say that, like, she said, those teenagers out there, don't go starving yourself or only drinking liquids. Don't do that, please. The model is warning youngsters not to replicate her regime, according to People magazine.
That's very dangerous.
It is. It really is.
Just on liquids and running. That's.
Where'd you get this article from?
You need some food, like some fruits and vegetables.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you get the article?
Why does it matter?
Because you need to give them credit.
All right. Now we have Kevin with ISIS.
You got it off of marquee.blogs.com. Thank you guys for that.
So, a few months back, there was the James Foley case where he was captured by ISIS and beheaded. And recently, a whole bunch of Europeans that were captured by ISIS were released, and James Foley was put up on put up for sale for $1 million.
On eBay?
I'm not sure if it's on eBay, but he's on sale.
Who do they think would buy the body?
Where can I buy it? I'm just kidding.
Some guy in Turkey actually bid for him for his body. They're actually sending a chunk of his DNA to kind of prove that it's James Foley.
Yeah,
So
but what if that's just like I just think like a lot of it's just fake.
I
honest.
kind of agree with you. I don't think that they're actually doing it, but at the same time, I mean, you could kind of expect anything.
Like
from
the fact that
ISIS
they're selling the bodies
this
just to
point.
make them feel like that they want somebody to buy it to see if it's real.
I feel like you should ISIS should just be stopped. But at this point, they're becoming too rebellious. Yeah.
All right.
Understand?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Laura, would you like to speak to us about the CIA and their torture tactics?
Former Vice President Dick Cheney, he was under the Bush administration. He, as you know, the Senate recently released a report on CIA interrogation techniques. But Dick Cheney was saying that it was a terrible piece of work and was deeply flawed. He said that some of the controversial techniques had been previously tested and it produced results. He acknowledged he didn't actually read the report, the 500-page report or summary, but he strongly defended the tactics anyway, including waterboarding and other terrible forms of torture.
I actually saw her in a movie once. They basically like put a towel on top of you and then just spill a whole bunch of water.
Could you make that gesture again, please?
Spill a whole bunch of water, right? And it's basically for the person to choke, and they usually stop at a couple ounces.
It triggers
makes you
something
feel,
in you.
in your brain. You can't breathe,
Exactly.
and you feel as if you're drowning, and that really drives you nuts.
A couple years ago, there was a radio announcer, I forget his name, but basically he said that, waterboarding didn't actually work, it didn't do anything, and so somebody came to him and said, we can waterboard you, and just to prove that, it doesn't do anything, and he tapped out after like 3 seconds. He could not handle it.
No.
Yeah, but the fact is that they're doing it to get information out of the people, but some people will like die before they give out information.
And some people just
Exactly.
give
What's the
out
point of
false
torturing?
information to make the torture stop.
And what's the point
because
of
most of the
torturing?
time they're not even guilty. They took in a suspect supposedly of 9/11,
Yeah.
and he was not even close to being part of it, but because they were so suspicious, they took him in and tortured him for, I think, how long?
A couple hours.
Yeah, and I think for 9 hours, and I'm pretty sure they used the technique, the music
Water.
technique.
What?
Now, this is
I'm
Mr.
pretty-
P. I'm going to butt in right here.
Okay, that's
Hey,
Thanks.
Marilyn.
Hey.
Well, she's actually in the middle.
This is not what our country's all about. I'm very embarrassed and I'm ashamed. I understand maybe they thought they could get valuable information, but even John McCain, who was a prisoner of war and ran for the presidency back in 2008, says that these techniques really don't produce the information you want. So I think it's a great embarrassment for the United States, and a lot of people don't want to come out and say that. But I just as a citizen, I'm very humiliated with this.
Like, there have been reports of prisoners giving up false information, just saying whatever they possibly can to get the torture to stop. I mean, wouldn't you too? Like, if you were being held captive and tortured, just give them either information that they want or just false information, basically.
The suspect that they had in that they were using, they used the torture tactic of not sleeping, and it was, I think, 120 hours. And they put headphones on. Every 20 minutes, a guard comes in and wakes you up to make sure you can't sleep. They slap them around. And here are some of the songs that they use for those torture tactics. The Real Slim Shady by Eminem. We all know that song, and we all know that could get annoying. Take Your Best Shot by Dope. Dirty by Christina Aguilera. Babylon by David Gray. I Love You, the Barney theme. Wow. That really
is-
must
They,
have
they,
gotten
It's
they
like,
literally
they
use
don't
that for torture.
That is
Yeah, they don't
torture.
play this song for like one time.
No,
It's-
they,
it's
it's
play it for, like,
repetitive.
hours.
120 hours. And after 72 hours of not sleeping, you're considered insane. So
Basically.
imagine 120. And here are some of the rest of the songs. Saturday Night Fever by the Bee Gees. Kim by Eminem, which is a gruesome song. The Meow Mix theme, you know, the meow, 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 meow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're right. That is torture.
Yeah. The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson.
Hey, you're
Prince.
So the most irritating songs possible.
Yep, last one, We Are the Champions by Queen.
there. Oh my.
I heard Justin Bieber.
At a point
I
that
hate
gets
that song.
The radio host that was waterboarded was Matthew Mancow Mueller.
I mean, what Dick Cheney did is just unforgivable, I think. This is.
And the
It's
lawyer
incredible.
now, after all these years, now he feels remorseful. But everyone who's interviewed him has said, but you allowed this to happen. You signed the
Exactly.
paper and you allowed this to happen.
They can-
And now he has nothing to say. I mean, what are you going to say?
You can't say nothing. It's
There's
just,
a lot of things in the world that we don't know, and then when stuff is discovered,
It's
I mean,
released, yeah.
That's very true.
like some
feel
stuff
like-
is so surprising. Oh, I'm sorry, John. Please continue.
I feel like to release it now was really bad because especially with everything that's going on right now, not only in our country, around the world, with ISIS and everything, it's just that to release something like this, there's still our prisoners of war in the Middle East, and with this out, they could torture them even more, or not even release them, just keep them for their whole lives.
This.
And
I'm sorry, John.
no, you can go.
Okay, this, like, finding out about all these torture tactics, I remember this like, remind me, well, obviously I wasn't in that time, but in World War II, we didn't know anything about the camps and all their torture tactics and everything, and it's like finding out about a whole new, like,
I found out more about the radio announcer that was waterboarded. His name was Mancow, or that was like a stage name. And they said that the average person could take it for about 14 seconds. And he took it for 5 or 6. And he said, this is a direct quote from him, "It's way worse than I thought it would be, and that's no joke. It is such an odd feeling to have water poured down your nose with your head back. It was instantaneous, and I don't want to say this, absolute torture.
Would
They
you
had.
compare concentration camps to
Excuse
Guantanamo
me?
Bay?
I would absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Would you consider Guantanamo Bay worse than concentration camp?
Yes.
No.
I don't think those two
I
are
don't-
really
I don't
comparable.
feel like- I feel
Not
like
in the form of torture, but the way everything came out and you found out about what they did. That's
Well, like people could be taken in, and like they're not allowed to call anybody, and they don't have to tell their family where they are. So like one of us could be taken, and we'll never know what happened to them until they're released.
well, that's true, but in Guantanamo Bay, you're taken in as a suspect for a crime, and
Yeah, but they don't have to tell you when they're arresting you. They don't have to tell you what crime.
no, of course not. But
I mean, you kind of
Did-
have a general sense.
And
like-
I read that the psychologists who devised these horrendous torture experiences were paid $80 million. Did you read anything on that? That was ridiculous.
no, that's
$80 million
that's
for
not
what?
money.
$80 million in consultant fees.
Yeah,
just to come up
talk
with
to
these
them.
Just to come
horrible,
up with these
heinous
horrible
torture.
That's absolutely the dumbest thing. That's why we're in trillions of
torture
dollars in debt.
experiences.
I wouldn't
'Cause-
exactly compare concentration camps to Guantanamo Bay in the sense that concentration camps, they rounded up innocent families.
no, yeah, obviously that's
Disabled people.
that's
Then
kinda
again,
the biggest
people who
children.
went into Guantanamo Bay, they were also innocent, though.
Well,
Yeah.
And it was against their choice.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John. We got someone from behind the board.
Yeah.
I mean, with Guantanamo Bay, there was more of a reason with the whole 9/11, post 9/11, and all the other terrorists, and there was a lot of innocent people, but it does not compare to the concentration camps with families, young children were put at work, if not like put in the camps, disabled people, elders.
Yeah, I mean, when I said that, it reminds me, like, Abraham kind of took it to another extent.
I
What
think
I
John
had
brings
meant,
up a very good point with the post 9/11 world.
Wait, I just,
And that, yes,
wanna-
continue.
I had meant, like, we didn't know about this. No one, our own president didn't know about these torture tactics that we were capable
did
of,
he?
and that we're in debt because, and it's kind of like the concentration camps. No one knew what was going on
at some
inside
points,
until
I'm
you
not
came
saying
in.
like we're not gonna put a bunch of people in Guantanamo Bay and then we're gonna kill them. I'm saying like to some points maybe there is like they're holding people in this place that you have no idea where you are and stuff like. I mean, the concentration camps were horrible things, and I think Guantanamo Bay is a.
Could
it's
you
not horrible, but I
imagine,
mean-
like, the people who like torture them? Imagine if they can do that to normal innocent people. When they come back, what are they gonna do to us? If they're crazy enough to do that.
Well, we'll talk about it next time. I
Next
guess.
show?
Yep,
Yeah.
There we go, we got
Sounds
it.
great.
Thank you for watching, and thanks to our panel, Abraham, Kevin, Laura, John, and Josh behind the board. I'm your host, Marilyn, and this is the Ronaldo Show on WHITradio.org.
That is low.
Have
It's
a good
not over
day.
yet. It's not over yet.